the show. Tonight I'm talking hopes, NBA free agency moves. So go ahead, put your headphones on and relax. Alright, how's everybody doing tonight? Tonight's bubbly flavor. Tonight's bubbly flavor is lime. And on the tab it says, oh, hi. On the side of the can it says, I feel like I can be open around you. Alright, so the moratorium on free agency was lifted on Friday, I think, and since then there's been a flurry of transactions. A lot to go over, so I'm just gonna go over a few of some of the deals and transactions that have occurred since then. Alright, so the Utah Jazz have signed Donovan Mitchell a 5-year, $195 million extension. I mean, we figured that was coming, but damn, 195. That's a lot of cheddar. Max, I think, it's 195 max. I think it was like 163, maybe somewhere in the 160 range guaranteed. Serge Ibaka is signing with the Clippers for $19 million. I think that his is a 2-year deal. Gordon Hayward to sign with the Charlotte Hornets His deal is for 4 years, 120 mil. For those of you that don't know, I'm a Boston Celtics fan. I mean, it was time for Gordon Hayward to move. I feel like I'm happy for him to get 4 years, 420 mil in Charlotte. And we'll see how he does with LaMelo Ball there now. So they drafted LaMelo Ball, and we'll see how they pair up together. Fred VanVleet re-signed with the Toronto Raptors for $85 million. The Portland Trail Blazers are bringing back Carmelo Anthony. That's not all. That they're also bringing back Rodney Hood. They're also bringing back Enes Kanter. And Hassan Whiteside is still out there. In free agency. No one signed him yet. Bogdanovich from the Sacramento Kings. That's Bogdanovich. He has signed an offer sheet for 4 years, $72 million with the Atlanta Hawks. I really like what the Atlanta Hawks are doing. I think they're going to be good next year. But Bogdanovich, remember, he was originally supposed to be dealt. It sounded like it was like a done deal that he was going to be dealt to the Milwaukee Bucks. But then they retreated. They walked that back. I think. And now he's a restricted free agent, so the Kings have a chance to match this offer. But if Sacramento does not match the offer, 4 years for $72 million, then Bogdanovich will be in Atlanta. Marc Gasol is still out there. Rumor has it it's going to be the Lakers or the Raptors for him, so he was in Toronto. The Lakers now eyeing the other Gasol. Remember, because Dwight Howard went to Philly. So that was a little bit unexpected. Dwight Howard had tweeted something about staying in LA, staying with the purple and gold, something like that. And then now he's in Philly. So potentially the Lakers gonna get the other Gasol. Remember, Pau Gasol won back-to-back chips when he was there with Kobe. So Serge Ibaka to the Clippers. He's gonna be back, reunited with Kawhi Leonard. Brandon Ingram and Anthony Davis both still out there in free agency, although they're expected to stay with the teams that they were on last year, the Lakers and the Pelicans. Oklahoma City's whole team done changed, right? So the Lakers got Dennis Schroeder. The Pelicans got Steven Adams. The Suns got Chris Paul. I like what the Suns are doing too. Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre now going to end up in Golden State. So Golden State's potential starting lineup is going to be Steph Curry, Kelly Oubre Jr., Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and James Wiseman. I don't know how much depth they're going to have. And they are in the West, so it's going to be So I like that squad. I think they're gonna be good. I haven't loved what the Boston Celtics have done so far. Not much, really. They are reportedly getting Jeff Teague and Tristan Thompson. So they lost Brett Wanamaker, they lost Gordon Hayward, they lost Enes Kanter. That's all fine, but I don't know that Tristan Thompson puts you over the top, really. And these other teams in the East making more moves, so we'll see what happens. The Nuggets have filled out their roster. They had to pull an offer for Torrey Craig, so because they filled up their roster. So Torrey Craig now is, I believe, headed to Milwaukee, and the Nuggets roster looks like this: Murray, Morris, Dozier, Harris, Campazzo, Hampton, Porter, Barton, Kankar, Millsap, Green, Bol, Jokic, Hartenstein, Najee, Howard, and Whittington. Millsap was reportedly interested in the Celtics, and they were in him, but I guess decided to go with Denver, decided to resign with Denver. One big hole for Denver is Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant is heading to Detroit on a 3-year, $60 million contract. And I think Denver's really going to miss his defensive presence. That was a surprise. That was one of the biggest surprises, actually. Jeremy Grant going to Detroit. So Detroit's made some moves. Also, Christian Wood is gone. Where did Christian Wood go? Did he go to Houston? 3 years for $41 million. Christian Wood to Houston. Touching back on the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, so Atlanta's starting five could be Trae Young, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Danilo Gallinari, John Collins, and Clint Capella. Then off the bench, Rondo, Chris Dunn. I forgot they got Chris Dunn also. Onyeka Okongwu, Cam Reddish, Hunter, and Tony Snell. I like that Atlanta team. They're gonna be good. They are gonna be good. I'm telling you. Montrezl Harrell, 6th Man of the Year, going across town from the Clippers to the Lake Show. Interesting move there. Pat Bev was on Twitter. It's like, what? I wasn't expecting that. Alright, my head is spinning. There's so much going on right now. So I'm just gonna go through these. I've got these free agency headlines. I'm just gonna list the free agency headlines one by one. Miami juggles the present and future with Dragic's return. Goran Dragic coming back to the Heat. Important for them, I think. The Heat made an interesting Myers-Leonard decision, and that is that he will be sticking with the Miami Heat on a 2-year, $20 million contract. The Lakers hit a home run with Wes Matthews. They did. They signed Wes Matthews on a 1-year, $3.6 million deal. I like that move for the Lakers for sure. Detroit has a Pistons "what are you doing" moment when they signed Mason Plumlee to a 3-year, $25 million deal. It is what it is. San Antonio makes nice value play with Drew Eubanks. The full value of the contract is worth just under $5.3 million for him in San Antonio. The Pistons signed Jahlil Okafor for reasons we can't quite explain. These are Bleacher Report headlines, by the way. The Pistons make a worthwhile gamble Clippers preserve some front court depth by re-signing Patrick Patterson. Patrick Patterson will return to the Clippers for a second season after agreeing to a 1-year deal. Veterans minimum for Patrick Patterson. I like P-Pat. Atlanta signing up Danilo Gallinari, steeped in risk and reward. Danilo Gallinari is joining the Hawks on a 3-year, $61.5 million deal. I think that's a little bit overpaying for Gallinari, but I think that he's going to help him too. Blazers retain Rodney Hood and suddenly have a sufficient number of wings. They do. Yeah, Rodney Hood, if he comes back. Now I think he had a ruptured Achilles, right? So if he comes back, and he was just starting to kind of ball out a little bit when he had that, but now they've got Rodney Hood, Melo, Covington. They got Covington from the Rockets, so they got a lot of wing play. The Sixers find a cheap Joel Embiid insurance with Dwight Howard. Dallas makes subtly good move in re-signing Trey Burke. Agree with that. Trey Burke's good. Minnesota makes questionable decision with Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley is returning to the Timberwolves on a 4-year, $60 million deal. Lakers get great value but questionable fit in Montrezl Harrell. I think that'll fit all right there. Cross town. Portland continues its focus on wing defense with Derrick Jones Jr. That's right, they got Derrick Jones Jr. too from Miami, the slam dunk champion. Derrick Jones Jr. A 2-year, $19 million agreement. 2 years, $19 million is popular right now. The Rockets make a shrewd move by landing Christian Wood. The Nets paid a premium for Joe Harris because he's worth it. Washington prioritizes present with Bertans mega deal. Marcus Morris entered free agency as the Clippers' most important free agent. They just paid him like it. He's coming back on a 4-year deal worth $64 million. Detroit is making an expensive gamble on Jeremy Grant's offensive advancement. Jeremy Grant's deal in Detroit is 3 years for $60 million. Indiana gets super lucky with Justin Holiday. Justin Holiday is coming back to Indiana on a 3-year contract worth a little more than $18 million. Pat Connaughton is now alarmingly important to the Bucks. He's coming back on a 2-year, $8.3 million deal with a player option. Orlando needs James Ennis III more than ever. James Ennis is returning to the Magic on a 1-year deal. It doesn't say how much. Denver's JaMychal Green signing softens the blow of Jeremy Grant's departure. Denzel Valentine heads back to the Bulls. Michael Carter Williams resigns with the Magic. Miami picks up Maurice Harkless. Chris Dunn heads south. Chris Dunn. To the Hawks. Okay, not a great shooter, not a great offensive shooter, but they got him more for defense, I think. Trae Young, not too strong on defense, so they need some backcourt defensive help, and they got Rondo and Chris Dunn. Avery Bradley switches finals teams. Avery Bradley to the Miami Heat. Memphis doubles down on John Conchar. Jay Crowder heads to Phoenix. In free agency, the teams that I like what they've done include Phoenix. Actually the Lakers, the Trailblazers, the Bucks. I think Phoenix is going to be good next year. I think Atlanta is going to be good next year. I like what Atlanta's done in free agency as well. Jalen Adams agrees to join the Bucks. Atlanta continues to load up with Rajon Rondo signing. Denver continues to pick up pieces of Grant's departure with Millsap's return. Blazers have some interesting lineup decisions after re-signing Melo. Yeah, Derrick Jones Jr., Rodney Hood, Robert Covington, Carmelo Anthony. There's only so many minutes to go around, right? Hassan Whiteside still out there too, by the way. Re-signing Elfrid Payton is a safe and unspectacular move by the Knicks. on a 3-year deal worth $40 million. Nice. He did come up big for him. Golden State finds a worthy backup point guard option in Brad Wanamaker. Dallas takes fantastic flyer on Wesley Wundu. Boston strengthens a bench with Jeff Teague. Nerlens Noel is a great value, but a questionable fit in New York. Phoenix gets a low-key steal with Javon Carter deal. Javon Carter is staying in Phoenix on a 3-year, $11.5 million deal. Portland adds intriguing young big in Harry Giles. Harry Giles was the number 2 prospect in the 2016 scouting class. He's just 22 years old. They got Cantor too. Yusuf Nurkic and Enes Kanter appear firmly entrenched as the top 2 centers. Should be a good spot to continue his development. I wonder what's going to happen with Hassan Whiteside. Utah maxes out Donovan Mitchell. Bucks add wing depth and Torrey Craig. Kent Bazemore headed back to the Bay. Kent Bazemore back to the Golden State Warriors. Dallas re-signs Willie Cauley-Stein. 2-year, $8.2 million deal. Willie Cauley-Stein back with Dallas. Okay, so, oh man, the Miami Heat have preserved much of the core that took them to the finals last season. A lot is going on right now. So, I think maybe I'll do a video like talking about potential starting lineups for the season. But that's about all I have in free agency talk right now. We'll see what happens. My eyes are on Anthony Davis, Brandon Ingram, and Hassan Whiteside. So I want to see what happens with those guys. I expect Anthony Davis and Brandon Ingram to stay put, but you never know. that's about